everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is the first time that you're here, welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is 𝐓𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐒, and usually on this channel, my goal is to help you enhance your quality of life by helping you to elevate to your highest potential. But today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. My emphasis on today's video would be elegance and why I believe it is your currency. So the way this video is going to be divided is that the first section of this video will focus on the context of why elegance is your currency. And then on the second section of the video, I would give you like a personalized rule book of that I apply in my day-to-day when it comes to emulating elegance, and I'm hoping that through this rulebook it can somewhat be of help to you as well if you are somebody that is interested on embarking in a journey towards applying elegance. So when we're talking about today's topic of the video, which is elegance is your currency, to make this video more interactive, I would suggest that you pause the video and think of the first words that come to mind when you read the title. Or to push it further, you can also write down some of the words that come to mind. And once you're done, take your time, no rush. Once you're done, you can continue to watch this video. To understand the interpretation of the title of today's video, we first of all have to understand what elegance and currency mean in terms of their definition. So according to Oxford Languages, the word elegance is defined as the quality of being graceful and stylish in appearance or manner. So please hold that thought for appearance and manner because they're going to appear again later in the video, or their synonyms are going to appear again. And then when it comes to the word currency, according to the dictionary.com, it defines currency as something that is used as a medium of exchange, such as money, and it can also mean something that is generally accepted or ultimately becomes popularized. So when we mesh the two words together, elegance and currency, what I mean by elegance is your currency is that by being elegant, showing up in the world in your authentic self and and applying your individuality, you are able, or you will ultimately attract opportunities or open doors for yourself, just like money can open doors for you. And I think that in this society, we're being told that the more money you make, the more opportunities you're going to be able to attract towards you. And the more wealth you acquire, the more you're able to do things that you never would have thought you could do when you had less money. And while I agree with that, I think that oftentimes elegance gets removed from the equation, whereas elegance is a very, very important component of it all, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you are somebody that's extremely wealthy, right? You have acquired all the money in the world, all the wealth, right? But in your behavior and in the way you treat people, it's not really attractive because you conduct yourself in a way where not only are you disrespectful towards other people around you, but you're also disrespecting yourself, right? And even if you had all the money in the world, right, none of that matters because when you pass away, all that wealth you acquired in your entire lifetime, while people are going to remember you for being wealthy, I don't think that that contributed to society because things that society devalues are intrinsic, right? The way we conduct ourselves within and how we treat other people, right? Were you somebody, even if you had wealth, were you somebody that was kind to people, that had empathy, that was considerate of other people, right? And I think these are values that we devalue as a society because constantly there's this rhetoric that the more money you make, the more you're going to be happy and the more you're going to be fulfilled. But I think elegance is something that we have to talk about more, right? And that's why I think it's super important that I made this video, because I also think that society tends to tell us, or it constantly wants to suppress our individuality, constantly is seeking to encourage people to follow the herd, to follow trends. And in a sense, what that does is that it causes us to fear standing out, right? Because we fear that by standing out, by expressing our individuality in the world, by being our true authentic self, then it will cause, or it would alienate people that we're close to, or people that we call quote unquote our friends, right? But I think that showing up in the world in your full authentic self, expressing your individuality, being bold enough to challenge the status quo by standing out, by being elegant, it is incredibly liberating, incredibly empowering, and so powerful. Showing up as your full authentic self, in elegance, in a world that wants to dictate how you should think and how you should present yourself, is completely liberating. And I think that is so beautiful, to stand up, and even if it's a path you have to walk alone, you are standing out and you are expressing your individuality. Now that we're on the second section of this video, I am going to present my personalized rulebook that I apply, or I try to apply to be elegant on my day-to-day, and I hope that this can help you. So first and foremost, we're going to start with the natures of elegance. To me, I believe that elegance fundamentally has two natures. The first is the intrinsic nature, which is everything that has to do with your behavioral tendencies. And then on the other hand, elegance has its tangible nature. So these are, characteristics that are perceivable readily when somebody chooses to present themselves in a certain way in the physical realm. So when we're talking about the intrinsic nature of elegance, this has to do with everything that is internally. So are you somebody that has dignity? Do you have self-respect? If somebody disrespects you, do you immediately stand up for yourself because you have self-respect and you're not willing to allow people to mistreat you? So therefore you're willing to walk away from relationships that don't benefit you to protect your peace. The second is, do you have the desire to acquire knowledge? So this means that being able to have that humility to know that you don't know everything, and therefore you are seeking to be teachable and to learn more things to expand your knowledge. And then, are you somebody that has empathy, right? Circling back to what I was saying earlier about people that can be the richest people in the world. Are you somebody that you're able to put yourself in other people's shoes and feel their pain, right? Do you have etiquette, right? This has to do with when you're in social settings, or can you read the room? Do you have respect for others by taking the time to listen to what they have to say before you jump in? Allowing people to express themselves without necessarily, suppressing others just so that you can stand out, right? And are you somebody that has kindness? How you treat yourself and others. I used to think once upon a time that as long as I treat other people with kindness, but I don't treat myself with kindness, everything is good. But boy, was I wrong. What I just described is a form of people pleasing, right? And I had to learn the hard way that you cannot pour into people from an empty cup. You have to be able to pour into others by first being kind towards yourself. And that means that how do you talk to yourself in your head? Are you somebody that you tend to tell yourself, I love you, I'm proud of you? Or is your inner dialogue just very derogatory and very demoralizing towards yourself, right? And then the other characteristic is, do you have integrity? So are you a woman or a man of your word? If you say you're going to do something, or do you follow through with your words in your actions, right? Are you reliable? And finally, class. It is about how you conduct yourself in the world. Is your gesture refined? Do you carry yourself with ease and grace, right? And then when we're talking about the tangible nature of elegance, this really has to do with your clothing style and your environment. So first and foremost, when we're talking about your clothing style or your personal style. There are so many psychological books that have been published out there that talk about the link between the way that you dress and how the way you dress is a reflection of your inner world. So many psychologists have talked about that. For example, Dr. Jennifer Baumgartner, sorry if I mispronounce her name. This author or clinical psychologist talked about this in one of her books, about how like there's a huge correlation between how we dress and what that says about our inner mental well-being, right? So when you present yourself in the world with elegance, like in the way you dress, you have such a unique style towards you that just makes you stand out automatically from other people. And that includes, right, being modest in the way you dress, not really having this need to always follow the trend. You have your own classical, unique style that is timeless, right? And I can make another video if you guys want later about delving into the physical style, like your personal style, if you're somebody that wants to embark on your journey to elegance. And then finally, when we're talking about the environment, it really has to do with how you decorate your personal space, right? When we see, for example, your room, does that reflect who you are inwardly? And it doesn't really have to be like extravagant, luxurious furnitures. No, like what I mean is that is your personal space clean, right? When we look at your personal space, is it clean? Is it well put together? Does it reflect your inner world? Or is it so cluttered, disorganized, and not really put together? So these are the things that it's a rule book of mine, and it really helps me to emulate elegance. But please, guys, I want to emphasize that everything I just mentioned, these are characteristics that I still aim to apply fully in my life. Sometimes I fall short, right? I'm not an expert on how to be elegant, and I don't mean to say that if you don't follow this rule book or if you fall short in this rule book that there's something wrong. No, by no means am I saying that. This is just a personal rule book that I aim to apply in my life, and we're on this journey together of embarking on elegance and expressing our individuality in elegance, right? So take your time. Like if some of the characteristics I just mentioned are not things that you apply, it's okay. You can always, if you're interested, you can aim to become that, emulate that person, right? That has those characteristics. And this brings us close to the second tip that I want to give. So try to find somebody, whether in the entertainment industry, or just it could be a family member. Try to find somebody who you believe possess elegant characteristics and try to emulate them, right? And maybe to inspire you, I can share who I am inspired by when it comes to elegance and why I think this person is extremely elegant. So you may know her, or you may have heard of her. The person that I find elegant is Audrey Hepburn, and she was a very, very, very popular actress in the 20th century. She was a pioneer in classical Hollywood cinema, and she was featured in movies such as My Fair Lady and Breakfast at Tiffany's. She was also known for her eccentric style, labeling her as a fashion icon. And also her beauty, grace, and elegance are just extremely timeless. Like, I grew up watching her movies. My mom was extremely obsessed, or she still is to some extent, obsessed with My Fair Lady. And I remember when I was young, like my granddad and my mom, they would watch that movie all the time. And I think the premise of the movie is this woman who, she wasn't really elegant in the beginning. I believe she was a peasant and she didn't really have refined gestures. And then she goes to seek this gentleman who is teaching her how to become a lady in the way she carries herself and in the way she behaves, right? And that movie is very funny. But so Audrey Hepburn is somebody that I honestly wish to emulate because of how extremely elegant and graceful she carried herself. You can just tell by her personality that she was somebody that was considerate of others, and just she had a kind soul to her, a quiet soul to her, right? And even if I didn't know her personally, heck, I probably wasn't even born. Yeah, I wasn't born when she was still alive, but no, like when I look back at her interviews from time to time, I really wish to emulate just her elegant characteristic, right? So if you made it to the end of this video, I'm so glad you did. And I just want to say that if you are very interested on embarking on this journey to elegance, I want to tell you that it is so attainable. Also, I would love to hear your feedback in the video. If there's a topic you want me to discuss, please let me know. And also, please don't hesitate to share constructive feedback. I read your comments, and I would really be grateful if you could share feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!